I welcome you to play a game with the devil, where the devil is your ego that doesn't know whether it's of light and or darkness, so it wants to play a game. Please know that past, present, and or future energetical timelines could come forth within a reading. So whether you see yourself being attracted to feminine and or masculine bodied, please use your discernment to take all of that which belongs to you and leave the rest behind. If you see yourself wanting to book a personal reading or seeing what I have to offer, as well as any remote healing sessions, please know I am a Master Reiki healer, as well as a self-proclaimed Master Healer, in that I have been giving modalities and working one-on-one with the universe, that I use my discoveries with my clients to help them on their healing journeys. Some of the things are available listed in the description box below. However, I'm not limited to everything that is available via a link. So feel free to utilize the email address to get in contact with me, and we'll take it from there. All right. Ego is a very challenging topic. There are many words in the English language, and maybe even any other language, that have political ties, political inquisitions, or just the hunger as to figuring out why they offer just so much problematic conversations, or why they trigger so many different people's opinions and offer, thus, while it does, so many different opinions. And I challenge the idea that that's a great thing. I challenge the idea that everyone has and offers an absolute fantastic viewpoint of whatever they not only define as their own version of an ego, but any definition that they come across. It's a congratulations and thank you for giving me your point of view, for you being you and thinking and knowing and feeling whatever those words may have and mean for you. However, your version of blue may be a different version of blue that I may value. It doesn't diminish that we both value blue. Ironically, we can have those conversations about colors, but when it comes to paradoxical conversations that have a massive movement behind them, all of a sudden we take something that's simplified and we make it so complex to the point that it has no ruling anymore. And that's where we are again here with a challenge. We're here to challenge the ego to show up for itself and to know that in the name of tarot, it shows up with the devil. The devil likes to dance. The devil likes to scare you. The devil likes entertainment and being enthralled and worshipped. It likes to be dependent on other people because it likes to utilize everything that another person has just so it can play tricks with itself to see what other thing it could learn it could be. The devil is very jealous. The devil is very envious. The devil is also very harmless in it being so inquisitive. The devil is dangerous as much as it can be healing. The devil is just your ego. For the ego is faced with your ancestral lines, ancestral ties, ancestral definition, the light of your body, galactic light, universal light, the light of your knowing, the light of your not knowing, and the dangers of your fears. Welcome to playing a game with the devil and figuring out if your ego is of lightness or of darkness. The ego is the one hungry to learn. The ego is the ego is hungry to fulfill itself. The ego is the one that's her hyena, ready to attack anything out there in the world, and also to tell you of its fears and anxieties that you should have, again, if you want to step out. The ego is the biggest taboo to your identity, but you can play along with it and authenticate yourself and it along the way. It is a game played to play with your personality, to play with your identity that is everlasting, evolutionary. And ever so powerful to sway the opinion of other people while you get to hide your own personality. Your ego is the loudest thing about you, but the one that has the least amount of attention, because the ego doesn't want validation. It validates itself by all that it has, by all that it's attached to, and it convinces you that everything that is under the wingspan of the ego is it. And it's just not true. You may have been an individual that has wondered why certain things have happened in your life. What makes you you? What makes it be your problem? And why you? Why not them? Why did I come with this? Why did I not come with this? It's really easy to ask all those questions when we are also powerful enough to see that we have certain things, or we are an absent of certain things that other people seem to have either more or less of. It makes it very easy to look at the problems in life and bring attention to those problems because, well, I don't have it. So if I see it over there and I realize I don't have that of which it is that I see, but I like what it is that I see, I might open my mouth and my imagination to want what it is that I think in that moment is not mine to be had. It's natural curiosity. It's natural way that babies or anything just born use their motor skills to figure out whether or not a direction is safe for it to go until an obstacle, boom, an ouch, a burn, or something comes that's problematic. A discipline, a loving, it's innocence that brings you the most problems. But innocence is also the one thing that allows you to see the purities that are to be seen along the way. Hence why it's always important to authenticate inner vulnerability, inner childlike authenticity, so that way we will never lose out on that innocence. So that we can always challenge ourselves to understand what it means to discipline our fucking ego, because our ego needs a lot of fucking disciplining. Our ego goes out into life and explores maybe things in life that we in our upbringing didn't think would exist. But then society teaches you or taught you that it does exist. So the lessons are also out there in society and not just in the confines of your home, where we then reach the understanding that home is where your heart is, and not the one that where you give your heart to someone else, but where you represent the heart that you already have and say, this is the love I have. Are you committed to and devoted to knowing that that is the love that I have, and thus also come with the devotion of not wanting to betray that love, because it's the love that vulnerably shows every facet of my insecurities and the things that make me good. There's a hunger for that. There's a hunger to understand unconditional love and figuring out if it is an existing vibration to tap into. And ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between and beyond, it is. It is not an illusion. It is not something that isn't available for all, but it is work. Just like negative is required to have work. It requires a lot of work to be negative, just like it requires a lot of work to be good or positive. The work ultimately being you. You honoring yourself and just the cells that make you you. And anything comes of you that has a meshing of your cells or gets into your life introduced to you as saying that your cells are needed to love its cells. There's all choices, and all choices that cannot be made until you understand those choices that you need to draw for yourself. There's universal justice. There's a universal pressure into knowing that you are quote unquote a good person, quote unquote a bad person. Follow that judgment, because it's a personal judgment you're putting on yourself. There's no whispering in your brain saying that you are a bad person, because if there are whisperings in your brain that's saying that you are a bad person, then consider yourself quote unquote intrigued to negative energy, and you want to hear them keep telling you that you're a bad person because somewhere in your soul you believe you're a bad person, and it's just not true. You're susceptible in your innocence to knowing that there is flaw. So you hear the flaw and the biggest fear of the siren that you own, which is fear, and the fear is going to be really loud, echoing in your head saying, follow thy voices, follow those inquisitions of negativity. And your ignorance and knowing that you can remain ignorant is the power to know that ignorance is bliss. Do you understand the shadow dances of contradictions that the world is continuously swirling in? And how you can innocently dance in the contradiction it presents itself and still consider yourself a full, complete, fully identifiable, unapologetical being. The world is your oyster, as they say, but you are the pearl within the oyster, making sure that the viscosity of what is going to be given to you, understood by you, traveled by you, known by you, hated by you, made by you, is all the essence of you being that pearl and identifying your pearlhood however you want to. It's an inner quest, ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between and beyond. No external validation is going to be valuable to you to give you more permission to validate what you need to be from the inside out. They're just blessings. They're makeshifts made from other person that hand out, that are being like a baton passed down to you for you to give you the permission to also shine your light. There's a family affair here, okay? There's a need to understand that every one part of a family brings beautification to the part of the family. The irony about this type of reading is that whoever sees themselves as being a part of a family is also suffering with their own version of what it means to be in a part of a fucking family. Because for some odd reason, family can't get their shit together and be a fucking united family. Yet, if you're in the United States, you believe in a slogan of united we stand, yet divided we fall. You can't even be divided or united in your living room. So what the hell do you want to preach when you step out of the goddamn house? You have to put your ego in check with what it is that you and your cellular makeup have room to control and have room to bring love to unconditionally, without any bias, without any unapologetical means of behavior, or the need to define anything with disciplinary or control. Can you swim in the being of just being, without needing to have everything shaped just so that way you can enjoy the flow? Can you appreciate journeying someone else's flow and maybe learning something along the way, or maybe also learning that you've learned nothing? The pressure is now, but the pressure was also there yesterday, and the pressure will be there tomorrow. But the point of today is not to worry about tomorrow, because we use yesterday to understand how we can navigate more so today and understand anything that we may need to then be understood once we experience that tomorrow. It's a caution of a wind between 1, 2, and 3. 2 being the center ground, 1 being yesterday, and 3 being tomorrow that we can't worry about. But 2, now we're worrying about right now, because 1 + 1 = 2. So we dualitize, I think I just made that up. We made that duality, we sing that duality between 1 and 1 and = 2, and then we understand, and that trifecta of a culmination, the triangle gets formed. And no, it's not no fucking Illuminati shit just because you always see a fucking triangle, all right? Illuminati is a symbolism and a mass behind it. Not every fucking triangle is going to or should trigger you into thinking that it's part of the fucking Illuminati. Let's get our shit together when it comes to understanding the symbolisms, because many of these individuals are wearing the fucking cross or any kind of emblem that they want to religiously feel empowered or intrigued by, but at the same time, they can't have a full-blown unified conversation about it. It's a contradiction of seeing one symbolism, gratifying it, maybe even getting a tattoo of it. I'm calling you out if you have one. And not being the one to handle the conversations that bring the emotions also along with it. Consider like the ego being the first set of the filtration system. You can see how people accepted your choices, can live with those choices that you made, can live with your opinions that you give. You may also see yourself not being able to share your opinion because there are people who just don't hear your voice whenever you open your mouth. And so you don't feel seen and you don't feel heard because you don't even think that your voice carries all the way to their ears. If that resonated, you must understand that you are realizing yourself. You're starting to realize that there are clues in your current environment with maybe also people that are in your social circle that you may also say that you love, who just don't see you in the way that your soul is asking you to be seen by individuals at this time. But you think that addressing any inkling that your soul may want from you, whatever the fuck that is, will be so problematic in you answering to that you don't want to engage in. And that's where I think you're going to run into some issues, and maybe even physical issues at this point, where you are going to I don't want to fucking say it, but I'm gonna fucking say it. All right, if you hold on to this energy for too long, and listen, I don't know how you know if it's your energy or not. By you just knowing it's your energy or not, you will know once you leave this reading behind what is yours and what's not. Because at the end of the day, it's all entertainment purposes anyway, right? So in that regard, if you take in and accepting only negative energy, and you refuse to mutate it, transmute it, understand it, you keep just whatever it is that you're doing, that's cancerous cells. It's cancerous because it's negative energy. Negative energy is just as hungry as positive energy. You're going to keep accruing negative energy, and then you're going to wonder why you have an onset of fucking cancer or cancerous cells showing up. It's something to also think about ancestrally, why it shows up in the bloodline. Any type of disease, any type of autoimmune system issue or disorder, anything. It's because the human consciousness that's tied to that cellular vibration of being, of knowing, of existence, gets mutated into a physical form, and that physical form has life to it, which is then you. If this message resonates, and if it's you, then you have the ability to take your consciousness that now recognizes it has some mutations in it, and you can overpass them. The fact that you have sheer imagination that allows yourself to know that probably the other cells that are not toxified here or don't have toxins to them, because as I'm making up words here along as I go, they're excited to reach a sense of euphoria, to finally take all the imprints of negativity out of their fucking way, because they are feeling the incredulous behavior of a negative energy somewhere in the vortex, like a spider on its web, and the spider is very fucking uncomfortable but will not move because it spent so much time in intricate detail making its web that it's just not going to just up and leave immediately just because there's a bit of an ugly, unedible bug on the web. I hope you're following all that a little bit. All that a little bit. All right, we have guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. We have worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And we have relationships. I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between and beyond. Again, I ask that if you consider yourself wanting to book a personal reading or any other type of reading or even a remote healing session, feel free to do so in utilizing the email address below. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning and your night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.